Corbett's birthday bash proved to be a success this weekend as the Astros took 2 out of 3 from the NL Central leading Milwaukee Brewers over this weekend series at Minute Maid Park, and the Astros have also secured a winning homestand, their first since last August. We've got a lot of positives to talk about from this weekend series, so stay tuned for it, and it's all coming up next. Positives overall from this weekend, not just from the Astros, but from the fact that, if you can't probably tell, that I was one of the many of 80% of customers over this weekend who got their power back. Now, I do realize that there are several customers out there who still do not have power, and I certainly do feel bad for you if you happen to be one of those people, but regardless from the storm, I am super grateful that, we didn't lose too much over this weekend. I just, had a couple of late uploads here and there, but anyway, let's talk about this weekend series against the Brewers, where the Astros took 2 out of 3 games from them. So let's start here with game number 1, as the Astros did continue their win streak, winning, I think, 6 straight, I believe. Hunter Brown, he showed up big in this game, and he gets his first win of the season as a pitcher, a pretty well overdue one at that. But as we dive into the scoring, it started with Milwaukee striking first by Jake Bauers. He had hit a solo home run in the second inning, 1-0 Milwaukee at this point. But the Astros would answer right away in the bottom half of that inning with Jake Myers hitting a go-ahead 2-run blast to put the Astros up 2-1. And then Joey Ortiz for the Milwaukee Brewers a couple innings later had put up a 3 spot of his own to put the Brewers up by 2. And at that point, it seemed like they were going to be in the driver's seat because, we're not exactly clutch whenever Hunter Brown's on the mound. But that was not the case tonight, as Jeremy Pena stepped up to the plate with 2 runners on. He hit a clutch 3-run home run to put the Astros up 5-4, which would be the final score in this game. All 9 runs in this game were scored on home runs. And then last but certainly not least, Josh Hader, the former Brewer, got his first career save against them. And with that save, he now has gotten a save against all 30 Major League Baseball teams, as the Astros go on to win their 6th straight game. However, despite having Justin Verlander on the mound for Game 2, the Astros would have their 6-game win streak snapped with a 4-2 loss to the Brewers on Saturday, with Justin Verlander failing to go 5 innings. William Contreras, let me check real quick. I don't know if it's William or Wilson. So William Contreras ended up winning a 13-pitch battle against Justin Verlander by hitting a 3-run home run off of him, which would prove to be the difference maker in this game, as the Astros, despite getting a home run from Jake Myers, that was as close as they got in this game, and unfortunately they could not get much closer than that, and they went on to lose this game. So there's not really much to talk about in this game, other than the fact that it was a rather tough L for the Astros. But going into Game 3, this was actually a very, very fun game. So Spencer Arrighetti, in what could very well be his last Major League start. I said that in my last series recap video that it would be his last recap video, but it wasn't. He ended up getting one more start today. But, I do think that his time in the big leagues might be coming to an end, with Jose Urquidy likely coming back here pretty soon. He had a rehab start this past Sunday. Chas McCormick also continued his rehab stint with the Corpus Christi Hooks. He is kind of struggling a little bit. I think he only has 2 hits in 4 games or something like that. So, we'll see if he does come back. Jose Abreu, on the other hand, who has been out in the team's spring training facility for the past couple of weeks, he said, Dana Brown says that he might be rejoining the team as they travel to Oakland on Friday. So we'll see what happens there. But that's not to say that John Singleton is not taking advantage of his time at first base. He is killing it here. Much more, he's really playing like how Abreu should have been playing. But yeah, with that out of the way, let's break into the series finale of this game. So it started with Milwaukee striking first against Spencer Arrighetti, who ended up getting the win in this game, as the Astros go on to win for the 9th time in the past 11 games, and also for the first time they have secured a winning homestand since last August. But yeah, Milwaukee struck first, but that 1-0 lead that they had obtained in the top half of the first inning before the Astros came to bat was short-lived, as Altuve tied it on a first pitch leadoff home run. So yeah, for once, swinging at the first pitch actually pays off. because, I mean, oftentimes it really has. And I hate when when Altuve swings at the first pitch all the time, because more often than not, it usually doesn't really end well for him. I like his aggressiveness, but at the same time, there's some times where he just needs to be patient. But yeah, that run the Astros scored in the first inning was one of 4 runs that they would score in that inning. John Singleton had an RBI groundout to put the Astros in front. And then Jake Meyers continued his tear in this series by hitting a 2-run double to make it 4-1 Astros. And Meyers would end up going 7 for 12 throughout this entire series. And then Altuve's home run, I should have mentioned this earlier, but Altuve's leadoff home run, it was the 37th leadoff home run of his career, which is too shy of tying former Astro George Springer for the second most in Astros history. I believe the most we have is 41, if I'm not mistaken. I'll look and see who hit it. But yeah, going to the 6th inning, one of Tucker's 2 home runs that he hit would make it 6-1 Astros. And then Brian Abreu would come in at that point with the bases loaded. He did allow all three of those inherited runners to score to get the Brewers within 2 runs. But Kyle Tucker's second home run of this game would give the Astros that 3 spot right back to put them up 9-4. And again, that would be the final score of this game. And this is actually kind of interesting. Kyle Tucker, who was wearing these green cleats with Orbit faces on them to celebrate Orbit the alien, our mascot's birthday this weekend. But, you know, no offense to Orbit, but Tucker ended up switching to his typical orange cleats. And he ended up hitting 2 home runs out of that after striking out 3 times in this game. And he was 2 for 8 in the entire series prior to those 2 home runs. So Milwaukee thought at first that they had kept Tucker contained, but obviously they did not. But and then yeah, Tucker, he is off to a very good start. After he had gotten off to a rather tough start, and the Astros did that as a whole, he is halfway to his career high of home runs, which is 30. He set that in 21, matched it in 22, and he finished one shy of that and a 30-30 season last season. Of course, he stole 30 bags last year, and he's only stolen 7 this year. So we'll see if he shows any signs of matching that throughout the season. It's only May, but yeah, again, we'll see what happens. I mean, he was close to a 30-30 season. I'm kind of hoping he gets that. And at that point, the Astros need to be considering an extension on him because, I mean, he's just too good for him to be let go. So, I mean, although part of me would think that, like, he might just follow the route that George Springer set and just walk somewhere else. I mean, we do have a couple of good outfielders. We've got Pedro Leon out in our AAA affiliate, and he's looking pretty decent. But, I mean, at the same time, everybody loves Kyle Tucker. Like, he needs to stay here for a while. But anyway, so... overall, a very good weekend series for the Astros, despite losing it the second game of this series and their win streak. As they say, when one streak ends, you start another one, and that's exactly what they did. Overall, a very good series. Next up for the Astros, they will be wrapping up this 10-game homestand by hosting the LA Angels for the first time. The Angels, of course, they're the underdogs in this division, and the Astros certainly have been taking advantage of this rather easy homestand, especially the divisional homestand. As I take a look at the standings here, they are only 4 games out of first place as of when I am recording this video, and only 2.5 games behind the Texas Rangers for second place in the division. So, I mean, still a good ways out. So, I mean, the top 2 leaders in our division are struggling, and it's only May, so I don't know why I'm viewing the standings and scoreboard watching this early into the season. But so far the Astros are making up some ground because we've got the Angels coming up next. They're a rather struggling team this year. It's going to be a transition year for the LA Angels without Shohei Ohtani. Obviously, they still have Mike Trout. They still got Anthony Rendon. But I mean, overall, their roster mostly consists of some young guys that are really going to just be looking up to them and still trying to develop. So it's the prime years for the LA Angels are over. But something tells me that this series might be a trap because, I mean, knowing our luck, we may end up playing down to the level of competition and we may end up losing the series, or worst case scenario, we might get swept. So we'll see how the series goes. But that's going to do it for this edition of Astros Series Recaps. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And again, I hope you guys are continuing to stay safe out there if you don't have power. My prayers and concerns are with you if you happen to still not have power at this point. But regardless, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you guys enjoyed, like I said, and I'll see you guys later.